Chapter 13, Rebuilding. I was led not knowing beforehand. I gave myself a bubble bath. "Would you like to go to Canada?" Dan asked. He had been assigned to attend a 5-day business seminar, and this time wives were invited. I looked forward to this getaway and brought books and journals to try to do some inner learning and growth while he attended the seminar. The Canada opportunity seemed a perfect setting to kick off our new direction. I began to think of it as a new beginning, a time of acceptance. Accepting the diagnosis of conversion reaction had been difficult, but now that I was at a point where I could at least consider it and learn what I could do to rebuild. One of the mornings we were in Canada, Dan was gone, and it was my traditional service day, when I made it a point to call, visit, or provide some service to someone else. Since I was the only one around, I decided to give service to myself. What a novel idea! When I prayed about an idea of what to do to give myself service, a bubble bath came to mind. There, during my luxurious bubble bath in Canada, some important lessons came to my heart. First, that giving service to myself could bring me the same wonderful warm feeling that I received when serving others. Loving and serving myself is key. Second, when I was born into this world, I had to receive service before I could give service to others. I needed others to bathe me, to feed me and clothe me, until I could do it on my own. Finally, during that trip, I fully accepted that my illness must be some form of conversion reaction. I even wondered if my body couldn't do depression in the old way anymore. I concluded that it must have found a new way of manifesting depression, this time through my muscles. "Oh, Father," I prayed, "help me learn how, where, and when to give service to my body that it needs in order to heal." The day before we left Canada, Dan took me to heaven. The signs on the gardens read Bucart Gardens, but it was heaven to me. Dan lovingly pushed me in a wheelchair as I discovered tiny white flowers with a whispery, powdery scent, light purple flowers, passionate red ones, and countless others. I saw rocks and waterfalls and children. From my wheelchair, I saw the children face to face and eyeball to eyeball. It was very enjoyable to see their quick, inviting, fresh, and ever-changing smiles. The day was long and leisurely. We learned that these vast gardens had once been a dumping place, an eyesore, and then the wife of a wealthy gentleman began seeing the potential of using the area as a garden where people could go and find peace and healing. Through her efforts and subsequently the efforts of hundreds who joined her, the gardens were transformed to exhibit the beauty I saw that day. I felt God's love, Dan's love, and hope for better days. I closed my eyes and imagined my own poor body changed into something beautiful. Hypnotherapy and therapy play their part. By the time we arrived home from Canada, I had progressed to a point of halted walking. I could walk if I concentrated on my legs and forced one foot in front of the other. I kept a wheelchair and crutches close by if I needed to go very far, and I used an electric cart at the supermarket. At this point, I accepted the idea that I needed to work with my mind and my spirit as well as my body in order to recover. I was thankful that our insurance would help pay for a therapist who specialized in hypnotherapy. We also sold our car because it had a clutch. We replaced it with an automatic one so that I could drive myself around. The only way to the office of the hypnotherapist was up 2 flights of outside stairs. I wondered if I'd ever get to the top as I gripped the iron railing and panted my way up the first flight. Looking over the railing, I noticed speckled brown ducks floating freely in the dark blue pond, shaded by the willow trees below. Someday, I mused, I want to be able to move about as carefree as those ducks. After my final ascent, I haltingly shuffled into the office, checked in and made my copay, and sat, wondering what this new experience would be like. I brought my tape recorder in case he would let me record the hypnosis session, and was pleased when he agreed. After getting to know one another, John, not his real name, asked me my favorite place in the world. Quickly I responded, in a garden. He then invited me to close my eyes, sit comfortably in my chair, and listen to the sound of his voice. Imagine with me that you are in a garden. You are sitting on a chair that looks almost like a giant rose. Take a deep breath and smell the smells. Look around and take in what you see. The reds are so red. The purples pure and clean. The yellows vibrant. Relax in your chair and let the sun reach down and give you warmth. Feel its strength and its love. In your mind, you may wish to stand and walk to certain parts of the garden. Tell me about them as you go there. As the session continued, he helped me relax and visualize myself feeling more peaceful, and especially seeing myself walking normally with strength and confidence. He had me experience the feelings of normalcy in my mind. At the conclusion of the session, I was amazed to find myself walking normally for the first time in months. The effect lasted for only about 10 steps before I resorted back to my shuffle. Still, it was a start, and I had my tape to listen to at home. I combined hypnotherapy sessions with psychotherapy sessions. Sometimes I would talk and reason things out with Carolyn, my regular therapist. Other times, with John's help, I'd visualize the future. The physical therapist also gave me strengthening exercises to do at home. As the weeks went by, I saw gradual improvement until one day I realized that it had been several days since I needed the wheelchair or crutches. I could also sit in church and not worry about having my head shake as though I were 90 years old. We had indeed experienced the miracle that we have been praying for. Groan therapy. I once bought a tape about overcoming loss at a library clearance sale. Among other ideas, it suggested groan therapy as a way to get my negative feelings out. One warm afternoon, when I was driving and had the windows partway down, I began to feel hurt, pain, regret, and deep sadness rising from the depths of my soul to the surface of my current world. As I pulled up to a stoplight, my feelings reminded me of pushing urges when I was in labor with my children. And when it's time to push, you just gotta do it. And so I let it out, a long, loud, satisfying groan. You should have seen the look on the face of the young man in the car next to me. I think he took off even before the light turned green. As for me, a smile replaced my pain, and I had another great story to share.